which SQL query you are going to use to fetch them. No, it is not that. So you have to learn the new trend, how to fetch the data from different sources, right? So those skills are to be updated if you want to be employable, right? And you see the companies which are hiring from SkillEnable, the company which is organizing this workshop free for you, so that you have a glimpse, a window into the field of data science and how the coding is done, how the things proceed as a developer, right? This company with the prime focus on employability. And if you discuss with the counselors, they will tell you in detail how they are different from others, and with small steps, how they are going to make big differences in the lives of many who have already been associated with them. So live classes and the placements, which is almost guaranteed, right? Almost, I said, because nothing is 100% sure, right? There is no guarantee that even the session that we are conducting will complete successfully, right? We never know the probability, right? I'm not that optimistic person, right? So this is one of the best one. The classes are live. The students who interact, they get the opportunity to share their screens, and every query is handled one by one, every session, right? You see how many students have been, in fact, affected by this, the hikes, the salaries that recently the persons who have completed the courses with them, they are getting. So it is a progressive. They are also creating a brand value. Some of the clients of this SkillEnable team is here. You can recognize the logos. Now, the job opportunities in the market are many. You see business analyst, big data analyst, decision scientist, data journalist, machine learning engineer, financial analyst, database admin, data engineer, and data science. Okay, not all of them will be handled over here, because a database admin will require different skills. But yes, most of the cases they go through this only, this data science program, right? And in an ecosystem, there are many positions, right? Slowly you start at in one position, and depending upon your interest and your capabilities, you proceed and you go ahead. So yesterday we took up a topic called I have a message. Yeah, 100% placement assistance from SkillEnable. Yeah. So what is sentiment analysis? Sentiment deals with the emotions, and we also saw a few examples that where these things can be used, right? It involves classifying the text which is available into categories like negative, positive, sad, neutral, to start with, right? There are many sentiments, not only these 3 or 4 sentiments are there, but to start with, these are the common sentiments which solve our purpose, right? What are the techniques? What are the uses? So yesterday we saw the use case, and you will agree that this is prominent, and this is being done, and this is a cheaper way to get a effective result, right? Which would have been very difficult if we go by the old school book. So price predictions, stock predictions, product analysis, management of the brand, and we see why Twitter is being used and how brands are more cautious on negative sentiments on the Twitter. We discussed yesterday. Then what are the approaches that are available generally used for sentiment analysis? There are many: rule-based, machine learning-based, hybrid approach, deep learning approach, aspect-oriented. Just a taxonomy of it, but this is not the only taxonomy. There are other taxonomies also. These are the theoretical concepts. When you go deep into the root, we can discuss why they are there. Now, what are the ways for popular ways for sentiment analysis? So Python NLTK package that we use, text block we can use, and others are not concern of our current session. We used a text blob package. Why did we started it? Because it is one of the simplest way to start with. It is one of the simplest way to start it. And through this, we get two things: polarity and the subjectivity of a text. So somehow you have received a review about a product or your company. And if you want to check whether the review is positive or the what is the subjectivity of the text or the comment given by them. So the polarity of the sentiment is ranges between -1 and 1, right? Why minus and 1 and 1? See, in most of this field of data science and machine learning, we deal with the numbers. Even if we have categories like positive and negative, we love to categorize them into numbers, because as the complexity increases, some of the models would be probabilistic, right? So whatever is the probability between 0 and 1, those probability will be converted into classes, right? Either 0 or 1 or 1 or -1. Okay, that we discussed during regular classes. So here with this, we try to we want to check whether a sentiment is a positive or a negative. And subjectivity is the data which is presented based on the facts, or it is an opinion. So facts are dealt differently and opinion is dealt differently, right? For example, if I say that, okay, as per the latest reports of the World Economic Forum, India is the second biggest economy, right? As per the report 2003. So it makes an impact. Rather than I say India is a leading economy and it is one of the top economies of the world. So you won't take that seriously. Okay, it is okay, but it doesn't create that impact what it should have created, right? So fact and opinion both are dealt differently, and you would like to categorize that also. So in order to do the sentiment analysis using the first approach, what we did install a package called a text blob, right? And we import that text blob into our file. And the first simple example that we did is here. Let me get my pen. One second. One second. Give me a second. Because of the loose connection, I believe. Yeah. I will have to reshare it. No issues. Yeah. Hope my screen is visible. Please acknowledge.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Megha is here today.
Yeah.
How are you, Megha?
I'm fine, sir. What about you?
I'm fine. I was expecting you.
Yes, sir.
I
I'm
could,
also,
I
yes,
could
I
see
it's
the
very
interest.
confident.
Right. So yesterday you asked questions. I will answer most of your questions, and we are going to have a very good session. Just be with me. Now,
Okay.
so yesterday what we did, if you see here. Okay. So we started with this sample code. In this sample code, you see this text block package is there. And this is a way to include a library. And the beauty of Python is that plethora of libraries are there. Very large number of libraries are there in comparison to other programming languages like Java, C, C++, though they are old, right? Still, they do not have that popularity which this Python has, being an open source, and anybody can contribute by creating a library. Even you can create a library and report to the Python that this is a very essential property, and they believe this should be included in your standard library. So they will give you credit also, right? That, okay, this should be included. And this is how it is improving day by day. No. So you see here, I'm asking the user that input command is used to read the data. And the message which you give to this function, it is displayed on the screen. So please input a text review on your last seen movie. So this you see in the blue, this is displayed on the screen. And after that, the user enters. The movie was a one-time watch, a later part was slow. Now, this value, whatever is read, is stored here in this variable called txt1. Actually, it is a string object, right? It is stored here. And similarly, I'm asking the second string, please input a text review on the actor's performance in the last. So I'm storing it here as a text2 object, a string object. Now, with this text blob class, you see, I'm giving this string as a parameter, and I'm calling its object and then its function as the function in polarity, right? So once I call this, what happens? It gives the polarity value, right? Here you see, this is a class. Indirectly, we are giving a parameter so that the object is created. With this object, we have another member variable. And from that member variable, we have another member called polarity. This is not a function. This is again a member whose value is assigned after the calculation is done. How this is done? This is done using the concepts of object oriented. So if you are thorough with the concepts of object oriented, then you will come to know that how this parameter is taken, and within this class you get an object, and within an object you get a parameter or a member, and how this member is getting a value, right? Because this is not a function. A function would have been like this, right? So these details are something which I expect every Python programmer to understand what is happening, how it is happening, rather than just getting the output that if I write it, I get a value, integer value like this. Similarly, if you see for both the text here, I'm getting the polarity, and the polarity, if you see here, is minus 0.15 and plus 0.65. So -1 means negative and +1 is negative. In between there is a transition. 0 means normal. So you see something, the first part is something a negative, not that negative, but yes, it is very close to 0. But yes, the movie was a one-time watch. Okay, kind of thing, right? And later part was slow. Now this brings a lot of negativity. Now, second part, you see, John was so hot and dashing. He is the best. So it gives some positivity. Some positivity. Why? It is not the most positive word. There could be many other exaggerations or adjectives which could have defined it in a better way, right? So you see, with this two, I get these two values about the negative or positivity. And similarly, subjectivity, if you see this similar way, sentiment.subjectivity for text 1 and text 2, and I get the subjectivity value above 0.19 and 0.57. So one is factual, right? And the another one is opinion. So you see the second one is more opinionated. So the words like dashing, hot, they are opinion. They cannot be based on the facts, right? So these words are already there into this library called text blob, and on the basis of that you are getting these values, right? So next approach that we saw using a library called a Vadder, right? It was better than that, and again, in order to use it, we need to install it. Now, how many such libraries are there in Python? No one knows. Maybe a few hundreds or thousands and thousands of libraries are there, and every library is unique and very powerful. Very powerful. Every week, 2 or 3 new libraries, I come to know that, okay, this is being used by either one of the student or one of the professional in a different way, right? Apart from the common libraries. So the same program we try to did here, but here you see again, a sentiment intensity analyzer is the class that I have imported from package vendor sentiment, and it's sub package vendor sentiment, not vendor. And here I'm trying to create an object sentiment analyzer. And on this object dot polarity scores, now you see how I'm passing a parameter over here. These are two different things. Just to see in the previous case how we were passing the parameter, and here how we are passing a parameter to the same thing. In the previous case, we were giving text block, then the parameter, then object, and this. But this is a more better way, right? And this is one of the things with the Python which I do not like, but it is bound to be because it is open source. Everybody is contributing. Now, if you want to paint your house by the choice of only one person, right? It would be a themed one, maybe a better one. But if you give every room to be designed or painted by a different person, then what happens? It would be like a zoo, right? So sometimes being open source has disadvantages, right? Not exactly everybody follows the same standards, same conventions, right? Conventions are to be followed, right? When you see people that when we walk on the road, we should walk on the left-hand side, but still you will find 1 or 2 people who will be walking on the right-hand side with their own advantages and disadvantages and logic. Right. So similarly, you see the two popular libraries and how they are taking the parameters. Right. This is one thing about Python which I do not like, but yes, both the approaches are there, and not only here, they exist, and as a developer, you should know that. So you see here, I'm talking about polarity scores for both the text, and you see what I'm getting over here. The output simply by printing here, it is not a number. The output is here in a different way. Now, what kind of output object is this? This output is something known as a dictionary, and the dictionary is stored in a key value pair. Now, why I'm telling you about the object rather than the output itself, because if you understand the object, you know how to handle it or how to process it further. Because this is not the end of the program. It could be part of a larger project. So how to handle this object also depends on the nature of the object. It is a dictionary object here, where we do have values like negative, neutral, positive, and compound. So you see there are 4 values with every string that we are getting. Earlier we used to get 2 things only, either polarity or sentiment, and the polarity could be in one state, either positive or negative, or factual or opinionated. So 2 values we were getting, but you see here there are 4 ways: negative, neutral, and positive. So if for a sentence, कई बार आपने सुना होगा कि अगर आप किसी की तारीफ करो तो जैसे यार ये sarcasm है या आप रियली आप तारीफ कर रहे हो, ताना है कि तारीफ है, राइट? सो मे बी दोनों कंपोनेंट हो सकते हैं, राइट? सो सिमिलरली in any sentence there could be a bit of negativity also and positivity also. It is very difficult in some cases to clearly demarcate it as a positive and negative, and or it could be neutral also. So neutral, negative, neutral, and positivity, they should be weighted, they should be given importance in some order, and the compound value should be calculated. So compound value is the final value that you should treat. So you see here the comment was the movie was a one-time watch, later part was slow. So it is a demoralizing one, right? So here you see neutral, it is considering as a case of neutral, but as a compound it is also 0, so neutral, right? But if you see here the second part, Abraham was hot and dashing, he was the best. So here you see neutral, but some sense of positivity is there, and neutral and positivity both combined on the weighted value, they are giving a value. So overall you can say that there is a positivity on it. So you see 2 libraries, 2 different ways of sentiment analysis, right? But this is not. Third one, bag of words vectorizations. Here we are going to use a machine learning technique called naive Bayes, based upon the Bayes theorem, mathematical theorem, quite popular. So what we did here, the problem statement that we use, that we have financial data, and that financial data is that we need to analyze, and this data has some text, and with every text there are certain sentiments associated with it. Say these are banking reviews of your bank, and the 1,000 customers which they have given the reviews. Now, we asked someone to come over here and read the reviews one by one and rate them as positive, negative, neutral, positive, negative, neutral, positive, negative, neutral. Now, this text we are going to give it to the machine learning algorithm called naive Bayes, and we will say that, okay, you learn from it. You learn from it. If this is the text, then this is negative sentiment. This is a text, then this is a positive sentiment, right? And once it learns, then you can give a new text, right? And you can say that, okay, on your past learning, you tell me whether this is a negative or positive. So here, this approach is also known as supervised machine learning. Now, what is the beauty of this supervised machine learning? That the data generally which you have is like this. Here we do have something called X values, and here Y values. So these are also called features, right? Here could be X1, X2, or Xn. In our case, it is only one. And here this is called label, right? This is also known as predicted value. This is the feature value. So in our case also, we are given with an Excel data, CSV data. Okay, and we are going to implement it using Python on a tool called Google Collab, right? And for that, we will use a library called scikit, or machine learning library, where most of the popular machine learning algorithms are there. Now, so rather than doing this, let us start how to do it. And let me open my Google Colab. So here is the screen. I will write Collab research, and Those who were not there yesterday, they can learn what I'm going to do here. So you see, first of all, you go to here, file, and locate in drive. Locate in drive. So it will give you a location where all your Python codes and data are stored on your Google Drive, right? The Gmail account. And here you need to upload the data, right? So in order to upload the data that we want to run, so in my case, simply right click here and upload the data, upload the file. I have already done it yesterday, but I will show you how to do it again. So the data file is here, data.csv, comma separated values. So I'm doing it again. So it should ask to replace it. Yes, you replace it. And once it is done, you may close this. Now here I will create a new file, new notebook, right? And 1 second. Yeah. So this is the new notebook that I'm creating. And in order to start with the coding, we use a very popular library. That library is called Pandas. So right, I write import Pandas as PD, very popular one. Okay. And once you write the code over here, you may click here to run this code or a cell, or press Control Enter, right? But if you parallelly press Shift Enter, this code will be executed and you will get a next shell also. So if I press Shift Enter, the code will be executed. So one of the important library that I would be requiring is Pandas. Okay, and here this Pandas library will be referred to as PD. After that, I need to get access to my I run the first cell, it takes time. You see here initialization and connected. It is giving you around what you see. I have got 12.68 GB of RAM and 32 GB of hard disk space on Google. Right. So it is more than enough to run such codes, but sometimes it may fall short. Now I need to access the data which is on my Google Drive. For that, I need to import a package from google.collab import drive. Right. So I get a class called drive, and after I write drive.mount, mount the drive. Now this location has to be common for everybody. Content / drive, and let me put it into double quotes. Is already done so. So you see my drive is mounted, right? Now I need to okay, when I request for mounting of the drive, for security reasons, it is asking you to give permissions. So whichever is your Gmail ID, it will ask you to give permission for the Collab to single sign-on facility, and it is permitted. Now it is mounted. So now you can access your Google Drive data here, especially in this particular folder on my drive. So still taking time. Okay, now let me read that data. So in order to read the data, let us read the data and store into a object called df, which represents data frame. pd.read underscore cs read underscore csv, comma separated value is the extension of my file. And where is my file? Did I put a no? So come back, and the file is here, content, comma drive, then my space drive colon Collab notebooks, and into Collab notebooks the data is data.csv. Let me run it. If it loads, I think it has been successfully loaded. Now how do you know that this data is here? So whenever you have doubt, you go and say locate in drive. Locate in drive, if you say it, you see the location. It would be something here. You will see the data. Don't go by the URL. So you see here my drive and Collab notebooks. So the entire data is into this Collab notebooks. That is why I wrote here Collab notebooks, the data. Now if this data is really loaded or not, so in order to know that, you write df.head show me the first 5 records. This is by default. Head function shows of top 5 records, right? By default. But if you want, so you see what kind of data we do have here. The data nature is that we have a column called sentence, and here we do have the sentences given by the user, and these are the labels which has been categorized by a human being manually. So this is the approach which we follow in supervised learning. Now, these days, if you see, Google Colab has this beautiful feature of tabular data. So once you click here, it converts the data into tabular data. So you see, it becomes a table-like structure. 5 entries are here. And what are the other updates? You can go here and read how these pandas can be converted into tabular data, how they can be formatted. It gives you a more interactive approach, right? Recently, a lot of things are here associated with it. Now, if we want to see how many data we do have, so the command for that is shape. So if you write df.shape, it gives us basically rows and columns. So you see there are 542 rows and 2 columns. Columns are sentence and sentiments, right? So in this way, you know, generally in the real world, when you get or upload the data, there are missing values also. And one of the best way to deal with the missing values, df.is null.sum. How many are the missing values? So if you run this command, it will sum and tell you is not. It's is. I'm very bad in this. Sometimes I commit this mistake.
Sir, from where we get this data? From the
Okay.
kaggle?
Yes, in the Kaggle it is available. You can get it from the
Okay.
Kaggle also. DF.
Okay, what to write when we search on the kaggle, then what to write on the
Financial data for sentiment analysis, right?
oh.
DF dot is null. Why is null is not taking is null. DF dot is null dot sum. What is the attribute error? Sum. There is no attribute error called sum. Why? Okay. Okay. It's not this. It is this then sum. Right, that function again returns an object, and that object again has a sum function. So you see there are 0 values. So almost all the rows are filled, right? This thing you can also obtain from a function called df.info. So basic information you give me. So basic information is like this. What information it gives? So it says that this number of values are there. The basic information which it gives is if there is any missing value or not, and what is the data type of every column, right? And what is the total size of the data in the memory. Similarly, there is another function that we use generally, df.describe. So it describes the statistical value of the data. But since here we do not have numeric values, so let us see what it returns, because both the text. So all are text. So it says that unique counts are there. Top data is like this, right? And frequency of this. So this is something which we are not interested. Now, one problem here could be that if there are some duplicate values, so we can check that if there is some duplicate value or not. So df dot duplicated dot sum. How many duplicate values are there? You sum them and let me know, so that we can remove them, because one should not get the second chance. So out of this entire data, there are this much of duplicate values. So if you want to see how many duplicated values are there, so you pass it to the df data frame itself and try to do logical slicing. Duplicated, and let us see what it gives. So it gives those records which are duplicated. So these are the 6 records which are duplicated, right? So the text in them is this, and their sentiments are like this, right? So a duplicate means 2 values at least, right? And here they are duplicated by 2 values. But in our modeling, we should ignore them. We should delete them. We should not consider. Right. So in order to remove them, the command is df data frame dot drop underscore duplicates, right? And if I write only this, then it will return a copy of those data excluding the duplicate ones, but I want that it should be retained in the original object. So I write InPlace is equal to true, a very common parameter, a key value attribute, right? A key variable. InPlace is equal to true. What it does is it deletes the data in the original object itself. So if I write now df.shape, and let me see how many rows are now there. So after this, removing the duplicate ones. So if you see 5,836, and earlier it was 5,842. So 36 and 42, a difference of 6 is there, right? Now, this is done. So since ours is a very small data, but if we do have large number of data, then sometimes we might also be interested in knowing the column names. So you write the function df.columns, it takes you the column names, right? So how many columns are there and what are their labels? So sentiment and sentence are the two columns which are there. Now, if you see the column attribute sentiments, so we may refer them like this, df, and here sentiments. So this is case sensitive. So we have to be very much cautious, sentiment, right? Now, if I want to refer to the sentiment, it will return all the attributes, right? And generally the attributes are the emotions, the categories of the emotions, but I'm not sure how many categories of emotions has been labeled or categorized by the person whom you have hired. So this is something also known as factor data or categorical data. So I believe these are only categories of emotions in which every record is categorized. So I want to know how many categories are there and how many values are there per category, right? So here we can say value underscore counts, right? So if I run this and use every time I'm pressing shift and enter so that it is run and I get a new cell for my next command. So you see the categories are neutral, positive, and negative. And if you see the number of records in neutral categories, 3,124, positive is 1852, and negative is 860, right? So of course, we are going to apply machine learning on this, but from here only our tuning starts. Tuning starts in the sense that data cleaning is the first step. And after that, we try to check if the classes are imbalance or not, balance or not, right? So every class that you want your system to identify, they should be equal in number, right? I cannot give a machine learning a training data of a particular type and expect them to catch with the equal accuracy the data where the data is less, right? So for example, if I teach you English, maths, and physics, I give you 50 lectures for English, 50 lectures for physics, and give you 10 lectures for mathematics. And in the exam, I ask you only mathematics. So the number of hours of training on physics has been more and mathematics has been less. Similarly, you can consider that here the number of negative is less. So the result is something called a class imbalance problem. This problem is class imbalance problem. That we may encounter. Now, rather than this, if you personally want to know how much is the number of these variables category-wise, then you can code them manually. And in order to code them manually, let us create certain variables. For example, neutral count is equal to 0. Right, then positive count is equal to 0 and negative underscore count is equal to 0. So these are the variables where I want to do it manually. Now, why I'm showing it, everything may not be possible easily. So you may have to write few lines of codes also if you're doing the customizations. Exactly not in this case, but later on you see. Now I want you to read the data from the columns. So for that, I write for I in df sentiment. Okay, so all the values from this column will be read, right? And I want to do one thing. if I is equal to runtime disconnected due to okay, neutral. So my category here is neutral. If you see the spelling, neutral, right? If it is the neutral category, right, then this is something called logical statement, if else statement, and I want to increase the count. So neutral underscore count is equal to neutral. See, it is suggesting neutral count plus 1. So it is increased. Now for this else elif I is equal to positive, then I should increase positive underscore count is equal to positive count plus 1. All right. And else, the last category is else, right? You can write else if also. I is equal to what is left with negative, then negative underscore count is equal to negative underscore count plus 1. Let me check its syntax if something is wrong. And if no, it seems okay. Now, total count, how much is the total count? So total count, I can get it from the either the shape command, or I can 1 second. Right, or I can take it from here. Total underscore count is equal to len, and len, if I give the df, so it gives me the length also. So it will give me the total length. Now, if you want to calculate the percentage, what is the percentage of categories, right? Total underscore count is equal to length. Okay, this is a new variable I'm creating, so don't panic. It's okay. Now, if you want to create a percentage, so neutral underscore percent is equal to, how to calculate the percent? So percent is neutral underscore count divided by total underscore count, and it has to be, this value has to be multiplied by 100 in order to calculate the percentage of categories. Someone asks you what is the percentage of these values, so 100, right? But it will give you a large value, right, up to 14 decimal places. So if you want to reduce it to 2 decimal places, then you may use a function called format, right? And format this comma, we write it like this in the format specifier, 0.2 f, floating point, and 2 points after the decimal. So let me see where all are the errors. So neutral, just to see the spelling mistake, neutral count is defined. So spelling is neutral count, neutral, 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 and count. Very good. Now, similarly, neutral percentage. Let me copy it and create the percentage for others 3 also. So here, instead of neutral, I write positive, and here I write positive, right? And here I write negative, and here I write negative. So I get the percentage also negative, right? The percentages are done, and you want to print it, so you can simply print it in one line. Print neutral percentage is, and the variable name. So it is, why neutral percent is showing error? Unexpected indentation. No, I don't think. It is outside the for loop. Yes. Okay. So all are having indentation issues, which is a major problem in Python. If you do not handle it well, you will have issues. Yeah. So now the variable is neutral percentage, right? So, right. So this is first thing is done. Similarly for other two. So here for neutral is done. So let me do it for positive. So here I write positive in small, positive, right? And here I write negative, negative, and here also I write negative. So let me run the cell. If I get values, okay. So you see the percentage is 53, 31, and 14. I did write 10 or 15 lines of code, right? But if you are smart enough, then you may get these values, negative, positive, and neutral, positive, and negative from this column itself using a command like this. Now the same thing which can be done in a single way is, and the command is df sentiment, right? And on this, if I write value underscore counts, now what this fellow does, you see, let me run it. So it gives you three values, neutral, positive, which we have done here, right? But if it gives three values, can't I store them here as negative, neutral? Let me give a neutral, then positive, comma, negative is represented by double N, and let me run it. So these values, three values are stored into these values. Now, if you see the negative emotions, it is this, positive emotions, this, sorry, negative is here. First one was neutral. So are these not the individual components? Just to see 3100, 1800, and 86, 3100, 1800 are 6. Now, if you have this and you know that the total number of rows, they are also obtained using a row comma column and df dot shape. So if you run this command, then the R gives the number of rows, how many records are there, right? And if you want to calculate the percentage, so your percentage calculations could have been much more easier. For example, now a percentage of neutral is n by r, isn't it? So n by r is something which is, you see, 53%, and this 53% is here. So you've written this much lines of codes to code it. So these things could have been done in a much small number of lines, only if you understand how to use it. Now, when we do go for such analysis, sometimes we need to plot the data to see it, right? This textual data numbers, many people do not like. So there are many libraries for visualizations, and one of them is matplotlib.py plot as plt. I don't write plt as pyplot. And another important library that is used these days is Seaborn as SNS. So let me import these libraries for visualization. And I want to plot a graph which is known as count plot. So sns.count plot, what you want to count. On the x-axis, I want to get the sentiment column, right? And what is the source of data? So data source is the df, right? And once you plot it, please show the plot, plt dot show. So this is the function which you need to call in order to show it. So let me see if we can get something which is better graphically. Okay, are you guys there with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see, this is something, a graph which has come up showing the counting. Now let us do and use the machine learning technique. Now I'm going to apply a machine learning model. So for machine learning model, what I need to do, generally what happens, let me explain you that. So in general, when we use a machine learning model, our data would be in supervised learning. Let me pick a lighter color. So our data would be something like this, a table. And here we do have attributes or features, right? X1, X2, X3, X4, blah, blah, blah. And here there would be label. So what we do, two, three things. We separate this from here. We separate this. So features are separated from labels, right? And this we keep it generally in a capital X variable. Here we keep it in a small variable, right? And out of this, again, there are methods. We try to differentiate, divide it into two sections. One is training data and one is testing data. So what we do, these are done randomly, right? It is not that from top we take some data. Generally, it is 80% and 20% ratio. So randomly we pick 80% data. And for those 80% data, both the X and the Y, that we give to the machine learning model, that you learn. This is a pen, this is a pen, this is a pen, you learn. This is a pen, this is a pen, you learn. You give them all sort of data. And once they learn, then we give them this testing data. And from this testing data, we only give the X components, right? We give only the X components and tell them that on the basis of these features, whatever you learned, you tell me what is this, is a pen, pencil, or something else, right? And whatever the machine gives an output, we compare it with the outputs which we already have, because we know the output or label for this data, right? And we compare this already known data with the data which is predicted. And on the basis of that, we do judge the accuracy of the model, right? There are many things associated with here. For example, how do you select it? K-fold validation technique is there. How you differentiate it, how you decide that which all features are important. Sometimes all features may not be important, but these are some things which we deal later in detail in order to build a better model. So what I do, let me first pick all the X values. So all the X values are stored into the column called sentence, right? So all the X values are stored into now this object called sentence. Now, similarly, Y value, generally it is small I, but you can capital Y also. And you take the label, which has been categorized sentiment, right? Now, you see, one thing I would like to say, that the number of sentiments which has been categorized over here are only 3: neutral, positive, and negative. But if you want, you can categorize it into different sentiments like sad, somehow sad, very sad, angry, not happy, unhappy, mixed, right? Aggressive, right? Violent, right? This could also be emotions, right? Which you can. And this model is capable of handling n number of levels that you want in comparison to text blob and VADR, right? So it is switch you are customizing as per your requirement. So you see, we have separated this X and V, right? Now I need to split the data into training and testing that section, right? For that, we need to import something. So we import some from a package called sklearn.model_selection. So this is the package sklearn.model and model selection. Model selection. So what is wrong with it? Selection. sklearn from this model selection, import train_test_split. So how to split it? This function I need to import, right? And let me use it to split also. So the data which I'm going to split is into 4 categories. What? X_train, the features which will be used by the training, for the training. X_test, the features which I will later on use for testing. Y_train for training, and Y_test for testing. and this thing will train underscore test underscore split. This task will be performed by train test split function, whose features are in X, labels are in Y, and the percentage of distribution ratio of testing, the percentage of testing data size is 0.2. This means 80% of the data will be given for training and rest one is for testing. Then we define a variable called random underscore random, not ROM, random underscore state. This random underscore state, it is a random value. It helps us repeat the experiment. This is sometimes also known as a seed point. So randomly, if you see the distribution of 80% to 20% is done randomly, which row will go in which category, nobody knows. But if you want to repeat, you want to get the same set of rows every time. So suppose Mega is repeating this experiment and she wants the same result. So this random state should be same, right? If you want to repeat the same values, same results. Otherwise, if you don't give this random state, every time it would be a true random to you. But the problem could be that the result may also vary, right? So here with this parameters, I'm creating 4 variables: train, X test, Y test. Now, let me first execute it. If everything goes well, okay, it seems. Now, what is there in X train? Can anybody tell? Okay, what was there in X? What was there in X?
Access sentences.
Yes, let me show you.
Independent features.
So yes, X has sentences. So let me go through the first sentence. So the first sentence is the geolocation technology will leverage. So X has the sentences and Y0 has those emotions, right? And out of this, you see 80% sentences are for training, right? And 20% are for testing. And for every sentences, their categories are again there. 80% for training and 20% for testing, right? Now, I need to import a count vectorizations for vectorizations of the text package. And how I do this? From sklearn. Now, what is this sklearn? Sklearn is the same library which we installed by the name as scikit learn, right? So while installation, the name of the package is scikit, right? But the package here is known as sklearn, right? It is the same thing. sklearn dot feature underscore extraction dot text import count vectorizer, right? Riser. Tell me if I am correct. Vectorizer. No IntelliSense? Yes, thank you. So it is okay. Now I create an object of this. V is equal to count vectorizer, right? And stop words are from the English language. Use the stop words from the English language, right? As per the support. Now whatever data we have through this, we try to perform an operations called transformation operations, both on the testing and the training data set. And it has to be like this: X and underscore train is equal to V dot fit underscore transform. All right, and this transformation has to be on X underscore train only. And after transformation, we try to keep the values there only. And then X underscore test is equal to V dot transform X dot X underscore test, right? So VY, this is, it's V or C. Count vector is, since I've written here as V, so let it be V only. Okay. Now, once it is done, So transformation is there. Now, what kind of transformation is there? Or what is this V object that we have created? So sometimes what happens if you're not sure what is happening now, I suggest you print it. So you print V and see what is there in it, vectorizations. So you see, oh, this is an object of count vectorizations. If I print it, I'm getting like this. So nothing is clear. So let me print its type. Print type. What is the data type of this V? Right. Get me the data type of this V. So it says that sklearn feature underscore extraction text count vectorizations. So what is it? Count vectorizations. Again, if you see, this is a class and other things. In this way, you can dig down and go to the root. What is happening over there? I will not explain it right now, but no.
So, but count vectorization should be in integer, na, because it always create the vector in matrix form, right?
Absolutely correct, Megha. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
But it's not showing here, na. It's matrix form is not.
So let us see if it is not showing there. Somewhere it should show, na. Somewhere it will show. I will not leave it.
Okay. Yes.
So can you see?
Yes. Yes.
Boom, boom, boom. Right. Now, similarly, if you want to see its data type of the same thing, so you write print type x underscore train, and you try to give it a value of 0 and try to do it. Tell me its data type. So you see, it's a CSR underscore matrix, and this is defined where? Where is this defined? Let me see who can explain it. This CSR underscore matrix is a class which is defined in underscore CSR sub package, which is defined into the sparse package, which is defined in the package called SciPy, Scientific Python, an advanced mathematical library, which is again built on NumPy. So SciPy हमने कहीं use नहीं किया directly, but indirectly, indirectly it took me there. Right. So once you explore this by yourself, then only you will go to the root. Right. Now let me build the model quickly. I have already taken a lot of time from sklearn.nav underscore base. Right. This is the name of the package that I'm going to use. Import. And let me give it the class name is multinomial NB, multi-class you can consider, right? So let me import this. Mult NB is the object that I need to create. Multinomial NB is the class name same. Nullity, no, it's not nullity, it's multi. Multi, it should be multi. So the class which is here multinomial NB. So this is an object which I need to create. And once this model object is created, mult NB, mult NB, right? So I write mult NB dot fit. Now here I'm giving the training data, and the training data is xtrain, XTRAIN train, comma y underscore train. Does it make sense that these are the X values, these are the sentences? You learn that these are the sentences and their output level is this, right? From this you learn it. Is this okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now let us see.
Yes.
होना ही था, क्या है गड़बड़ भाई? मल्टीनोमिमल नहीं, मल्टीनोमियल, एक एम यहाँ ज्यादा है, एक एम यहाँ ज्यादा है, लग ही रहा था मुझे कुछ गड़बड़ है. Now you see mult nb dot fit.
Capital B.
Capital B, is it? Okay, here it has to be capital B. Very good. Quick to grab. Okay, so no doubt. Okay, I think what is this then? Multinomial. Multinomial ठीक है. यहाँ पे उसका ऑब्जेक्ट हम बना रहे हैं, ये भी ठीक है. It's okay. Fitting, I'm fitting it, right? And after this fitting, I want to predict. So let me call it a y underscore pred is equal to mult capital NB dot predict. Predict what? Predict. I have kept data for testing also. So x underscore test. You tell me that for this data, the 20% of data which I have stored in X test, what are their emotions or categories? Oh, mult. It is not nulled. Right. So let me do it. Mult nb.predict. So this is the same step for every machine learning model that you do it. Right. Now it has predicted. Now it has predicted the value and the value stored in y predict. Right. Now I want to tell me the accuracy, because whatever is the predictions y predict it is giving, I already know their values, and the actual values are stored here in y test, isn't it? Y test corresponds to X test. So whatever is the sentence X test, its level is Y test, original level. Whatever is the type of emotions, right? But you see here, I'm getting the predicted from my model. Now I want to calculate the accuracy. So tell me the accuracy. So in order to calculate the accuracy, of course, you can manually also calculate, but there are inbuilt functions. sklearn.matrix import accuracy underscore score. So import accuracy score, and I call it to calculate and print the accuracy by print accuracy underscore score or y underscore test comma y underscore pred. Right. So you tell me that this is the y test data, original data. This is the data which has been predicted by this machine learning algorithm, and you tell me the accuracy. So what is the accuracy?
67.
67%. Okay, very good. Now let me see, my model is ready. I have built a sentiment analysis model, but now I want to use it. So for using, let us get some data. So from where to get the data? So I will get the data from this data set itself for the time being. So from my training data set, if I get few rows, okay, few tests, right? And let me store it into some object called predict, p. I want this is assume that this is my new data and I want to
Then if we import externally any data to check, then how to import external data to check?
Similarly, you can read it from a CSV file and store it into an object like P here, a plain text data.
Okay, store in P object, and we also take X underscore train.
No. This is not required. You can store a plain text in this object called P.
Okay.
Right. And after that, you write this mult NB. This is mult, not nulled. Mult NB. Right. This is my model dot predict. So you predict, and the data is this. Take this data and predict. So what it is going to predict? Can you tell me?
Yes, sentiments.
Sent. Right. So whatever sentiment it is predicting, predict the sentiments for this text, and whatever it is print. So let us see what sentiments it has predicted. So you see positive, neutral, negative, neutral, positive, negative. So this is the prediction of the sentiments.
But how to create the column of these sent corresponding to the data?
Of course, you can keep it. I mean, for example, whatever, suppose it has come, and here you can always merge them. You can concatenate two sentences together. You can create a data frame, right? PD dot concat, yes, P comma sent PD. It's PD or concat. Yes, it should be. No, PD. This is text value. So pandas pd.concat. What it shows? Type error. Only series and data from objects are valid in one. All our concat expressions will be keyword only. So concatenation operations are not possible. So how to so I can write it like this. Let me create tt p is equal to ed dot data frame.
Okay, it's creating a separate data frame for the.
You create a separate
Yes.
data frame and
Then you can get
put
in.
it as a column. Everything you put it as a column. So write say like I write t of data is equal to I was stored it into p, then t of sent as sent, and let me print t. Yeah, simple way you can do this also. Why it is not happening? T of data is equal to shape is not there or what? P is here something. Okay. Rather than this. Okay. So here what is happening? Here, this is no more the text which I used to give. If you see, this is the transformed data, isn't it?
Yes, this is
Right.
vectorized data.
Vectorized data, that is why it is showing. But if you have the data, you can do it, right? If it would have been the actual data, we can do it. Anyways, so in this way, you can, there are ways to store it. Now, the second thing is this the best model that you want to have, right? No, this is not the best model. This can further be improved. And the further improvement can be done on this data. For example, the same code, if you see an improved version of this, another notebook that is here, this gives me a 69% of accuracy, and the earlier was 67%. So you see what was earlier 67%, and now I'm getting a 69%. So what all things I have followed, what I have done. So again, some improvement work has been done, vectorizations and you see, removing of the texts, right? Creating
Then
manually.
here you remove the stop words now, and not is considered as stop word or not? Not.
Not is also part of a stop word, but here it is a keyword,
Yes,
right?
yes. Sir, I have done a one project. There is a one sentence I am not interested. Okay, and I apply the stop.
Oh,
It
yes.
remove the note.
So in that case, not will not be considered as the stop word because it represents an emotion, now.
But sir, it always remove the no. When we apply the stop words, now it always remove not. If then it remove this note, then it change the form of that sentence. Na, it
It
get
could be.
positive.
So why don't you print the collection of stop words? Because if you go on the higher level now, you should be in a position to change the stop list of stop words also.
Okay.
These things may create difference. You are very right. But I agree with you that if you remove not as a stop word, then it could be an issue.
तो
Okay.
stop words तो एप्लीकेबल मतलब सर वो सेंस को चेंज कर देते हैं सर डाटा की स्टॉप वर्ड्स का कंसेप्ट.
No, stop words are those words whose frequency is more than a given level in any language is considered as a stop word.
Yes.
If you see the
But
definition.
not is considered as stop word that sometimes create problems in textual data.
It may vary with the library also. I will have to check which libraries are considering it and which libraries are removing it. Right. Okay. Now you see there could be further improvement and how the model can be improved. For example, from 67% to 69.88, and this is something which is important, and we can improve it. So in this way, you can do a sentiment analysis of this textual data using NB. You can further apply other machine learning algorithms like SVM and others which are there.
Sir, in this file, what type of approach you have used here to improve the effect?
So I have used simple supervised machine learning approach, right, using naive-based technique.
Okay.
Right. Now.
Previous you used the vectorization, right?
Right.
Where is naive based?
Right. So now after this, what we have to do? Okay. Okay. Now let us see the second thing that we wanted to do today, and I wanted to take you to something which is important. Boom. Twitter data analysis. So Twitter data extraction. So what is Twitter and why its data is important?
Because Twitter has almost the textual data. We can analyze the textual data, same in the form of sentiment.
Which website doesn't have textual data?
Yes, almost have, but on Twitter, mostly people are active.
Right. So Twitter is popular and all kinds of fights and stars are there on Twitter. All kinds of brands and is there on Twitter. So big shots are there. So Twitter is important. So anyways, Twitter analysis is. Okay. So Twitter analysis is important. And can we extract data from Twitter? If yes, then how? I will show you. So to be able to reproduce the following steps are required from a Twitter account. In order to use a Twitter API, you first have to register as a Twitter developer on the website called developer.twitter.com. So if you have a website account on Twitter, you go to this URL developer.twitter.com. And once you register, you need to create a Twitter application that will set up the bunch of credentials. And these credentials will be later used by the Twitter library in order to authenticate. So how many of you have Twitter accounts?
Yes, sir, I have, sir.
Very good. Govardhan has. Only Govardhan has. What about others? So how will you do this? Twitter analysis. Create an account on Twitter. It will be used somehow. Now, once you log into this developer.twitter.com, you will get a page like this, right? And here you go on the projects and apps. So you will find here a button called Add App. So you have to create an app on your Twitter account, right? Once you create on this Add App, you will get this next screen, which will tell you that create new app, right? So once you click here, it will take you to a 3-step process. And here you choose development. And then you create next. Now, once you create next, it will ask you to give it a name. I have given the name get tweeted using Python, right? And you click next. So when you click next, here are certain important things which are important, really important, and you should keep them secret, right? These are the credentials. If these credentials are known to anybody, he can drop a tweet from your account. He can read a tweet from your account, right? So these credentials should be kept hidden, right? And you can copy these credentials, which I will use. And once you return back after that step, these credentials can also be again obtained from here. You click here on the key, you will get all the credentials, and you can regenerate. Click that and click on it, and randomly you can regenerate these credentials, so that if somebody is using those credentials, Triveni, please mute yourself. Triveni, please mute yourself. Right, thank you. Now, so see, this step is important in order to copy the keys, right? Once you have copied the keys, I mean, you can regenerate here. These keys are important. API underscore key, API underscore key secret, access underscore token, access token secret, and barrier token. These 5 keys are important for fetching data from Twitter. Now let us see. In order to connect to Twitter, install TweetPy library, right? And an additional package that I'm going to use is python.env. I'm going to use a library called python.env. Now, what is this path? Okay. Why this python.env is used? The Python connect function uses these keys. And if I want to code those keys into my code, and the code which I'm going to show you, you all can easily copy my code and secret key, and the system can be compromised. Rather than that, I want to store these keys into a file called .env file, a file whose name itself is .env, right? And I will use this package called python-.env to read the environment variables. So what these environment variables are, every system has certain environment variables. You know what is an environment variable? Can you name? Can you name some environment variables? What is this path here? Are you guys there with me?
Yes.
So path is an
You are
environment
teaching us
variable.
how to take data from Twitter.
Yes, I'm telling you how to take data from Twitter.
Okay.
I'm telling you how to take data from Twitter, right? For that, the initial setup has been done. Please connect again. You need these 4 keys, 5 keys from the Twitter developer account. And for that, you need to go on the Twitter account, developer.twitter.com. You create an app, and during this app creation process, in the last step, you will get these keys. These keys can also be obtained from here. You copy the value of these keys. These are alphanumeric long strings. And you install these 2 libraries. And finally, the keys which you have got, you store them into a .env file. You can directly code these keys into your Python file. But anybody who has access to the file can know your keys. But I have done is into my directory where I will run the code. I have kept this .env file, and this variable name and the keys are stored there. After that, you see, I am using a command like this: import OS to interact with my operating system, import TweetPy. Now from .env, import load.env. Now this function is important. Okay. This function is important, and here one line is missing, and that line is load underscore .env. The moment I run this function, it loads all the environment variables. It makes available all the environment variables. And after that, this os.environment, this key, get the value for this key and store it into this object called consumer key. Get the value of API key secret, store it into this one. Get the value of this token key, store it here. Get the value of this one, store it here, right? And then use the TweetPy library, tweetpy.os authentication 1 handler, and you provide these parameters, and you call the authentication function. and you are connected. And you are connected to the Twitter API. Right, now you can fetch it, whatever you want to fetch. So let us see how to do it. Let me, don't need this one. So I can close the entire thing here. I need to code on my idle screen. Let me get a new coding window, right? And the code which I just showed till now. Okay, now is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, I was debugging it, so there was a problem with this code. So I have written some extra things. So these things I can remove, and I can say that print successfully authenticated. All right, to make it that I have reached. Here I may print where keys loaded successfully. If they are not loaded, you will find exceptions and errors. Now, once this is successful, I use an API.verify credentials and it gives me the details. These details I can use. So let me save as into a folder where my script is written, Twitter data. So maybe here .env file must be here only. Let me show you that there is a .env file already stored over here, right? So let me put this Python file also dot with the name test, right? Now this is loaded. Now let me run it. So let me run only this much of code. And if you see, the code is here on my other screen. So keys loaded, keys successfully authenticated. Okay, now whatever I have got it, I want to print these details. So I write print ME. What is there in this ME? Let me run it again and print it. So next time again you connect and you see 261 lines of codes is already here. HTTPS, screen name, doctor, this, STR, what is this? These things are of noise, very difficult. 261 lines. But I don't need this. Let me do it one by one for you. So one by one, let me make use of this one simple. So there are few values which I'm trying to put it here for you. Me, who is the person with whose account I have logged in. So me.screen name, me.followers count, how many followers are there? A brief description about me, location of me, when this Twitter account was created. Print these details from Twitter. Now you see. My Twitter name is Nihar_RR, Nihar Ranjan Roy, right? What is this next? Followers count. I have 113 followers. Description, associate professor in computer science. Location, New Delhi, India, right? When this account was created, 2011, this at this time it was created, right?
Sir, it randomly take the name of person.
No, these details are associated with my account. I have created these keys. These keys are associated with my account. Why it will take randomly?
Your account is associated with that professor.
Yes, I'm a professor.
Okay. Okay.
Right, I'm a professor. This is my original Twitter account, right?
Okay.
And these keys are associated with my account.
Okay.
So let me see if I can
So
show
here
you.
you written API_key. This is a name, like API_key. But you told not you have to copy the key.
Wait, I'm telling you again, you missed it. So this is my developer account, right? From where I've created the apps, right? And you see, this is the Python account and the keys are here. Now, if you want to see my Twitter account, so you see, this is my Twitter account.
Okay, okay, I understand. This is you.
All right. So if you go on my home page and others, you will find those details. All the details. Is there some delay? Right. Okay. You see the details here. Nihar_RR, the Twitter handle and other things. Now, in the code, you see these keys are associated with my account. And what I'm writing over here, that I'm telling that you read these environment variables. These environment variables are stored into .env file. I told you to store it into a .env file, na?
Yes, yes, yes. These
So
all
that
these are
stored in
stored
the same folder, right? And that
Got
file
it.
is loaded. When I say that you read this environment variables so that you guys cannot know my keys. Otherwise, you can tweet anything from my account.
Yes,
Right?
right,
I do not want to show my keys to you. And after that, you see by this line, everything is authenticated and you are logged into Twitter. And I'm calling API.verify credentials and get me the object. So after verification, it is giving me a lot of data, tons of data, which is stored into me. And out of those, I just printed this 5 data for you, just to verify that I'm able to fetch the data live from the Twitter.
Yes, yes. Now I get it.
Okay. Now, the next step is to get the data. So what you want to search from Twitter, let me remove these things. These things are not required now. So I want to get data something like this. I want to get the data on Ukraine. So this is my hashtag or search key. I want to get all the data after 2022-11. This is the date. And I need to use an object called TweetPy cursor. Okay. And I use a parameter called API search tweets, right? And the tweet which I want to search is this keyword called Ukraine, which is stored into this object called search words. So you search these words, you search in English, date from where it has to start, and how many tweets you want to search. I need to search 100 tweets. Now, whatever this 100 tweets I get, I will later on store it into an CSV or an Excel file, which I will later use for sentiment analysis. Are you getting it?
Yes, yes.
No. So the data frame that I'm creating, it will have 3 columns: tweet, who tweeted it, and on which date they tweeted it, right?
Okay. Sir, it will fetch all the comments that you have done on Ukraine, like your all the comments or overall comments of public.
Only 100 tweets.
100 tweets from your account.
No, from Twitter. Hashtag. It is as good as searching hashtag Ukraine. For example, you write it here. How do you write it? Hashtag Ukraine. So it up searches as on date, you see, 26th March. Wherever there is hashtag Ukraine, you will get the news.
Okay, okay.
Right? Now, come again, connect. So I'm searching on Ukraine and I'm searching only 100 tweets. And you see, whatever tweets I'm getting, 100 tweets, they are stored into as a list. And from that, I'm getting one by one and printing this text. From that tweet, only text part I'm printing. But from that tweet object, there are many other things which are there, right? And these other things I want to store, and I want to store it as a CSV file, right? So how do I do that? So for that, I need to use these 2 basic commands. So you see here, df.location, 1 by 1 and column names. I'm writing tweet.text, tweet.user screen name, and tweet.created, on which day it was tweeted, right? And I'm printing for your convenience only the text, right? And finally, you see I'm creating a data frame, and from this data frame, I'm asking it to save it to a CSV file, right? And the name of the CSV file is Twitter data megha.csv, right? And let me run it now. Start. Now you see the tweets. 100 tweets it will do, right? And finally it is done. So if it is done, let me go to the directory where it is stored. It must be on a different folder. So that folder was Twitter folder, Twitter data, and megha.csv. Let me see, created just at 9:41. Let us see. It is on next screen. So you see, these are the text. These are the users who have commented and on which date they have commented, at what time they have commented, right? Now you see, whatever tweets here we have, again, data cleansing is required, removal of stop words is required. You will use regular expressions to clean it. And after cleaning, you can have a sentiment analysis on Twitter data also. So you see 100 rows are here. First row is the header name. So it is 101 in the count, right?
That's very amazing way to get data.
Yes. And you won't believe, initially people use this data to earn tons and tons of money. But quickly Twitter learned, and it created a limit on the number of tweets which you can have, number of pulls you can have, right? You cannot pull everything, right? So what is that? Let us see. Okay. Now, in the search words, again, you can give many other parameters, right? So you see how many pulls you can have. You can go by number of items you want or the number of pages, because when you go on the Twitter, in one page, you get a fixed number of tweets, right? So you can go page by page and or items. This is what you have, items or counts, and number of pages or counts, whichever comes
So
first.
in the same way, we can get the data on Prime Minister and make the sentiment analysis. Then we can predict the image of our Prime Minister. Like we can do these type of things from fetching data from the Twitter.
Yes,
no?
of course, of course.
Okay.
Right. Now you see, even if you have a script of Prime Minister on 26th of January or 15th August, you can do a sentiment analysis. How many times he has talked about farmers? How many times he has talked about development? How many times he has talked about IT? How many times he has talked about pension, right? And from that you can emphasize, because it is a general tendency that the more we repeat a word, more emphasis we want to give. Now you see what is the rate? How much data can you pull from Twitter? Because there is a limit, right? And you see, in 3 hours you can pull only 300 tweets. If you increase the frequency, you may be banned, right? So maybe for that you will have to create a different account or something. So the limits are here.
After 3 hours, we can fetch the 300 rows, and in this way we can create
in this data. Right. How many statuses you can, how many verifications you can, right? How many IDs you can fetch, right? Okay. Now there are some other limits also. If you see, every 15 minutes you can pull 180 tweets every 15 minutes. So periodically you can write a script which is a time bound, and every 15 minutes it pulls, so that the script is always running 24/7 and it is pulling data rather than in 1 second. Now, if you want to pull tweets from any particular person, so your search should be from Elon Musk, Lang English, minus is retweet, except retweets. Now, Steam real-time tweets. Is it possible that whatever is being tweeted live, can you pull that data also? Yes. you can pull live data also. As and when somebody is tweeting, it will pop up on your screen. This is possible. But for that, you will have to enable some functionality onto your developer account, and that is write only. What is this? Stream people real time. This particular live streams. In order to be able to use the streaming functionality of the API, you first need to grant write access to your Twitter application and move it to a project. You need to regenerate the credentials, use the TweetPy, and then you have to use filters and others. And here's the sample code. So you see, same thing almost, right? After regenerating, you use tweetpy.streaming client and def on tweet. So whenever somebody tweets, you get its ID and text, and you can have on your screen, a running screen, that, okay, somebody is tweeting and you get the text on your screen. Or in a very live way. This is called stream, right?
Okay.
Further, if you want, on Twitter, the official document is here, docs.tweetpy and stripping data. You click on it, go and read the documentation, go through its API and customize it as per your requirements. All right. And that's it from my side today. From SkillEnable team. Rest of the 10-15 minutes I want to leave for question and answers. SkillEnable team, Sejal, Sanchita, if you guys are there. Tomorrow we will talk about chatbots, right? How to create chatbots. What are the technologies available for chatbots? And if possible, there is something new which has come on GitHub. I will try to demonstrate that also, if it installs successfully on my computer, because I have also not tested that yet, right? And if I get success, then I will show that also, how to install a ChatGPT kind of live thing on your local computer.
Okay.
All right.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. I was trying to speak. I don't know my voice.
Okay. So till now, just give me 1 minute. So you guys are clear about sentiment analysis and what are the steps broadly involved in fetching data from Twitter?
Yes.
How
yes.
actually it works?
It's amazing, sir.
Right? It's very simple. You follow the basics and you will. Okay, Sanchita, over to you.
Yeah. So hi guys. I hope you had a great session. I hope you understood about the sentiment analysis project, and what you can do is it will be really interesting if you can just complete the project and you can upload in your LinkedIn profiles as well, and you can tag us, tag SkillEnable, that you have done this 3-day course with us, and you have been taught by Dr. Niharanjan Roy, and you are able to complete just by a 2-day session, just in 4 hours you are capable of completing a project, which is amazing, which is an amazing stuff, and it will increase your reaches as well. You'll be able to connect to more people, and if you're thinking about shifting to this domain, this data science field, it's definitely going to help you a lot, and it will increase your confidence, and it will make you complete more projects like this, right? So it's definitely going to help, and this is something very interesting, and many people.
I will do, ma'am. I will complete this project and put on LinkedIn and then tag you.
I'm very happy to hear that. And it's, there are a lot of people who are trying to learn Python for a long time. In fact, they are also not able to complete the project in maybe 4 hours. So that it's an amazing thing. I think you should just show it off to people, to this recruiters and hiring partners should know that you are capable of doing this. And in any way, if you do this course in 2 months, you'll become a pro. So things gonna definitely work really well in that direction. So if you guys have any query, any questions, you can ask. We can have a short Q&A session right now. I think most of you have already prepared your resume, and you know, in you have a separate tab for certification. So you can maybe add this for 3 days workshop course also, and you'll get a certificate as well, right? So you can come put over there, and that's definitely gonna add a you know, feather into your CV. Apart from that, LinkedIn and your social websites, definitely you should post over there. It's an achievement definitely that you have completed. Any questions, guys? Anything that you want to know? We'll be putting a link in the chat so that you can get your certifications from us. So please make sure you fill up the form. So you'll get the certificate from us at the end of the course, and you'll get the recordings as well. Where is the form? Yeah, Shivam, can you please post it in chat? Yeah. So I hope, Kaushik, you can see in the chat that Shivam, please send it to everyone in the chat. Please, guys, fill up the form. You'll receive the certificate and the recording of today's session. So anyone with any question? Can I quickly get a feedback from you guys? Like, how did you like today's session? What is the unique thing that you learned today, or what is the best thing that you learned today, which you really liked? What was the moment of the day for today's session?
Fetching of data from Twitter.
Sorry.
How to fetch data from Twitter. That is most amazing.
Okay, that's really nice. May I know your name, please?
Megha.
Megha, really. That's really great. Anybody else? I mean, these are very maybe small things, but that's gonna stay with you for a long time, right? You knew today that you can get data sets from Kaggle. You can import data from Twitter, and any data set that you want to work on, you can work on if it is there in Twitter, right? So these
anything, Sanchita, just to add on, anything which is trending, you can write a script one time. Just you need to change the search string, whether it is a COVID, pandemic, elections, anything. Suppose you have to give a presentation tomorrow in your office or somewhere, and if you want to get what is going on Twitter with respect to this, a sentiment on the media, so you can pull it and put it into your presentation. You can create a word cloud out of it, right? So which words are more
Actually, it
important?
is new to me. I will try. I will try first time.
Yeah. So currently, if you're not working in data science field, also still you can induce these things in your daily life, daily work, and that's gonna definitely work well for your presentations, for any work report if you want to provide to your clients. Also, if you want to talk to, you can take references from here, whatever we taught. Yes, Kaushik, you'll get to yesterday's recording. Once you fill up the form after the course is complete, we'll send you a certificate as well as the recordings. You can also revise it from the recordings, and if anything is you have missed or you have forgotten, you can definitely revise it from there and complete the projects. I would really look forward that you all complete the projects and tag SkillEnable. It would be really very glad, like we'll feel very glad about it. So definitely tag SkillEnable. We'll also repost your projects and make sure it reaches most of the people. So I guess today they do not have any other question. They understood it perfectly. No doubt, no questions are coming in. So is there any full-time? Yes, Kaushik, there's a full-time course is there. So we have, we offer deep dive in data science program, then deep dive in data analytics, and deep dive in business analytics. Okay. So in deep dive in data science, we have advanced Excel and VBA, Power BI and Tableau, SQL, and fundamentals of Python with machine learning with Python and deep learning with Python. So you are learning basics of Python and you'll know machine learning and deep learning with Python as well. NLP, computer vision, all these things will be included. So that's our main flagship course. Apart from that, we have data analytics and business analytics as well. So I think we are pretty much done. If you have any query, you can ask. Otherwise, we can wrap it up. I wanted a quick feedback from you guys. Like, you can give your reactions as well. Like, how did you really like? Did you loved it? Did you think it was really helpful? I mean, anything.
Or if some other topics you want to be covered in the next version of this.
Yes, Kaushik, we will, what I'll do is tomorrow, we will arrange a call with you and we'll send you the brochure of data analytics and discuss about the course fee as well. Okay. We would like to know what is your profile, what are actually you are looking for in the course, and accordingly we'll let you know about everything, about the course fees, program highlights, everything. Okay. All right, guys. So please fill up the form, everybody. I think most of you have already filled up. Guys who did not fill up yet, please fill it up immediately so that we can arrange or process the certificates of yours and send the recordings as well to your mail ID or share with you the link. So tomorrow we'll have a session on chatbot, and that's definitely trending a lot. I mean, people who are actually data scientists, data analysts, they're working in different companies with this position. They are also working on the same stuff. So that's going to be definitely an amazing thing. All right. Thank you so much. You have a good night and see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Nihar sir, for your time and for the amazing session. See you tomorrow.
Thank